Yeah, great points. So I'll say this. I do believe you can adapt and make more. I think you're speaking of what some would call, and some even in the chat, that they're like kind of there's a cap for drivers, especially if you work in one app over the period of a week, a month, where you extrapolate that out, you're going to make about the same. You can't really go higher than that because the algorithm is controlling you based on your decision making. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think there's, without having like facts and data and no research that I've done personally, based on what I've heard other people say, and based on my experiences with the apps that I work, when I only work predominantly one for an extended period of weeks, I think there's something to be said for that. But that's why I talk about adapting. Because if I'm gonna be okay with working Uber rideshare, and I did it when I first started doing this, that's what I did. And I did it for about a year, right? Part-time and then a little bit into full-time. I noticed, yeah, my about each week was about the same unless there was a crazy event or something crazy happened or a crazy big tip if I worked a little more, I did make more, but my average per hour was about the same because that's my demographic, that's my marketplace, the time I chose to drive. So I had to adapt and say, I'm not going to only fish with this pole. I'm only going to catch that kind of fish with that kind of bait. I need to add in other apps that's going to allow me to have less downtime. Because I think when, as gig workers, when we have one or two apps, that's all you have is that app. Downtime is a big factor in a lot in people's money making ability. You're sitting around countless videos. I didn't see anything for 30 minutes, an hour. Oh my God, it was so slow, right? And time is money. So adapting to me is looking for other opportunities that lessen the time that you're in your car making nothing. Because as an independent contractor, we're not employees, we're not clocked in. So it's our job and my responsibility and yours and everybody's watching now to figure out how do I have less downtime, give myself more opportunity. That's where the adapting comes in. And when you see trends on the Uber app and the algorithms not treating you right based on a tier program, based on whatever's going on, right? Something going on in your city that's like crazy and I don't want to go to this zone. Now they're forcing me to do this. Then that's when you work a different application that maybe doesn't have that type of program or it doesn't have that type of feeling like, oh my God, it's going to be so slow, I'm not going to get anything today. Because they're all independent contractor work, but they all work for me on my device independently of one another. Okay. So the opportunities that I have on this app aren't going to always equal that app over there. And they're going to make me maybe feel different. What, that it is what it is. But for me, the adaptability is crucial. I've been doing this now full time almost 5 years. I've been deactivated on two apps. And I'm not asking for like any kind of like pat on the back. It is what it is. One was
So have I.
right, one was wrong. Yeah. So you know how that feels, right?
Sure.
But I've documented on this channel, I'm not making less money. I make more money now than I did 5 years ago. So to your point, you really can't make more. That has not been my experience. Do I think most drivers have my experience? No. I've said that probably 100 times. My experience is not normal in some ways. I have a good market. I think my work ethic is pretty good, right? But my point is, you can adapt, and I believe the people that adapt and the people that I say, hey, maybe try this app. Have you tried this? Have you done this? Have you tried working a different day? Have you tried breakfast? Have you, you know, like those people have had success. I've met them personally. Some of them are in the chat, possibly, right? You have to be willing to adapt in this world when it comes to the gig work. If you're only going to work one or two, I think you're going to have an experience like you have and like many people do. But part of being a gig tuber or whatever is showing people different opportunities. There's a different way of thinking about it, right? So the adaptability is right on. Like I stand by that because I live that. That's my experience. And to your point earlier, you said if I could change one person's mind about this and how to look at it, I say the same thing, Tim. If one person watches tonight and they're like, you know what, I am going to try this because I'm not having success, then if they try it and that worked for them, then that video that I made was good for them and it worked out. It's not going to work for everybody because I think a lot of people don't want, they just want it to be easy. This work to me on a case by case basis is actually very easy. I think that's why the barrier entry is there. But if you want to make a living doing it, it's not. It's not easy to be doing this, and I don't recommend it to anybody.
One
Um,
thing One thing that kind of upsets me, though, about the adaptability thing is it's only expected to go one way. So I'll give you an example.